Well, we're kind of just in an overall reset, I feel. Like I feel like we're entering a new season just from last week. Just,
Yeah, it's funny. We keep saying reset and reset and reset, and
It kind of is. I mean, I feel that mentally, I feel that physically, and I feel it spiritually, where just kind of like my whole, like everything of me is coming, like it's becoming aligned.
yes,
I think maybe that's what it is. It's not a reset, it's an alignment.
I think a lot of things are coming into alignment. Just the timing is right. We went to a business conference, the doTERRA convention in
Mhm.
Utah, and then immediately right after, we went to the um, Southern Baptist Convention Send Network Build X conference here in Las Vegas,
Mhm.
which was about church planting. Right after that, and the more and more we hear about it, the more that it just reinforces that um, our mission is to share the gospel
Mhm.
in how we love people, how we serve people, and just glorifying God in everything we do.
Yeah. And so, we don't like everything in life, I think we see as it's a ministry, is a mission. And there's some point or purpose to what we're doing. And, it's all through God who gives us the strength and the wisdom that, we can pursue that, right?
Yeah. And I guess just sharing that journey, like a few years ago, I think we shared a little bit about this, but just to reiterate, I'm just realizing that we're just rebuilding a lot of the community. One, we didn't have a community moving here in Las Vegas. Two, the whole world shut down. And three, there was a lot of disruption in community, whether it's politics or ideologies,
Mhm.
that um, I kind of stepped back from that. And learning now, I'm learning that I didn't have to step back. I have tools now. I'm actually going to therapy
Mhm.
and learning a lot of tools that, hey, you don't have to step back from the situation. You can deal with it or in healthy ways and build a healthy community. And we first started with our church family,
Yeah.
and you can share more about that. But
Yeah, we love our church family, and really um they have been there just more often than not, encouraging us, whether it's we're getting together in person on Sunday or through small group, throughout the week, events, text or calls, this community, we really do treat each other like a healthy family should, and we're really intentional about, how are you doing, in a genuine way? How can we support you? How can we help you? How can we be there to lift you up as another, brother, sister in Christ?
yeah, I mean, it all started during the pandemic, feeling that need. Like
Mhm.
online church wasn't cutting
Yeah,
it.
it just doesn't cut that.
And even if the online option was on, to be honest, there was times where we were like, we didn't even
Yeah,
watch it.
it's so easy not to do.
Yeah. And just having that real connection. And
Mhm.
so we went to the original church, which was the Crossing. And I looked for small groups over there. And then God called us to different church. And first thing I did was to look for small groups over
Mhm.
there as well.
I think that's something because we really value that. Like we value community, and we've known what it does for us, not just on the spiritual aspect, but like the emotional and mental aspect as well.
Yeah. And so this is not a requirement of a church, but when you're hungry, you like that churches have events that they offer. And we were just going to a lot of different events.
Mhm.
And I hear all the time where people's like, I don't have community, the church is too big. But really, if churches are offering those type of things, I think the best way is just to take advantage of it
Mhm.
if you can. And sometimes that means rearranging
Yeah.
our schedule. So,
Yeah. I think everything is just intentionality. And the more that you feel the conviction to do something, like I think we were really convicted at that point where we were just desperate for whatever community we could plug into that felt like we belonged,
mhm.
you know? And like if we felt that but we didn't pursue it, I don't think we would have the community that we have today if it wasn't for being bold
Yeah,
enough to step out of our comfort zones really because, we're like I mean, for me, I'm such an introvert. Like I wouldn't have gone to the lengths that we did. I mean, if it wasn't for you, if it wasn't for that, you know, that need and that desire to really want to plug in.
I think that desire is in everyone. I know before um, having a relationship with Jesus, you're always looking for something to fill that hole, not realizing it's a relationship with God.
Mhm.
And then I do believe that when you're away from the community, the Holy Spirit kind of prompts people to get back because we weren't meant to do this life alone.
Mhm.
And it's not like we didn't have a community. We have friends here in Vegas, but there's just something deeper where you can share your walk with God, where you can encourage one another and read the Bible and share some values. And it it takes coming back to that. Without it, you kind of get rusty, right?
Mhm.
We think of the
Yeah.
verse about iron sharpening iron. Well, if that's not happening, we're just rusting.
Yeah. That is so true. And there's a lot of wisdom in that. And I think going back to God created us for community, to not do this life alone. First of all, we're doing life with Him, with God. That's the first relationship, right? That we have that we put above any other relationship, right? If you're thinking about it in that terms. And then, we have us in marriage,
Hmm.
right? God gave us to each other. And then, then you have like your family, if you have a family. And then there's just so many, like, I guess, pieces to that community and to, don't push people out, I guess, too, is, maybe what I'm saying. And just like, don't discount, you know, the people, the body of Christ.
Yes. And so I don't know what else to say except we've pretty much it's taken years. I think that's another thing about community or church. Sometimes people after a few months they're like, I'm not really close to anyone. Well, you're not going to be really close unless you really
Hmm.
hit it off. There are some people that you just hit it off right away.
Yeah.
But sometimes it has taken a year or even 2 years.
Hmm.
So some of these people we only get to really know after year two.
Hmm.
And that takes some commitment.
Yeah. Part of it too is how much are you doing outside of church? You know, like what are you doing outside of just church?
Yeah, the Sunday
The
service,
Sunday service
because we are the
or
church.
right. The building. So, yeah, Sunday service or midweek service or small groups. Like what are you doing? What are some ways that, you or I, what are some of the things that we've done to help grow our relationship with some of our closest friends, within church?
Well, what's interesting when you brought that up, I was thinking about the several groups that we are part of. And
Hmm.
so um, we have a Wednesday group. We go to a Saturday group, which
Hmm.
has over 20 people.
Yeah.
And then when we're in Hawaii, we also we have a community, a small group over
Hmm.
there. And I think about the memorable times of not only meeting in group, but like we went bowling
Hmm.
when we were in Hawaii. And we've had some just pool parties over here or going to the restaurant. And we really got close with people when we traveled. with them on the medical mission to the
Mhm.
Philippines.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are, like, really good things. Like, and, because there's a difference between just going to church and living church because, like Holland said, like, we are the body of Christ, right? And we are the church. So the church is not just the building or the Sunday service. It's us carrying out the gospel within our own means and our own ways to our own communities.
And it should feel natural
Yeah. Yeah.
because when you talk to your friends, whether um, they attend your church or not,
Mhm.
you're really close friends. You're just reaching out, whether you have a bad day or you have a
Yeah.
joke or you're just catching up on life. That's second nature. It doesn't take. Um, it's not draining. It doesn't take
Mhm.
that kind of effort. It's just natural,
Yeah, it
right?
should be fun. It should be with people that you really do connect with, that you feel comfortable with, right? I mean, because we do have a lot of church friends,
Yeah,
but we only, I would say there's only like a handful of them that we really trust, or not trust, because we do trust all of them, but who we really feel that deep connection to, that we feel like, at a moment's notice, if I have to go to the hospital, I know who I'm calling,
yeah,
you know? If there's a deep need, "Hey, can you pray for me?"
yeah. Like when your
Like,
heart is heavy,
mhm.
you don't feel that shame,
Yeah,
or maybe you do, but you
but
still
you do
reach
it
out.
anyway.
You still reach
Yeah.
out. You know that they're listening ear,
Mhm.
um, and these are people you check up on time to time. They check up on you
Mhm.
time to time. It's not like a job routine. It's not like a work colleague. And
Yeah.
sometimes, to be honest, with church, it does feel like that.
Mhm.
Um, you do have that work relationship. You only uh, see each other at events or at church or in
Yeah,
ministry.
and you're only talking about the ministry
Yeah, so it
and
doesn't.
yeah.
It just scratches the surface. It doesn't get any deeper.
Mhm.
But you know that it's a genuine relationship when it goes beyond church. And
Yeah.
a perfect example of this is your friends,
Mhm.
because we mentioned that we went to first church we went to in Las Vegas is the Crossing, and you made some friends over there, and you're still friends till today.
Yeah.
And we went to Hope. We made some friends.
Mhm.
End up being part of the church planning team from Hope to Village Church, and those relationships continue. Um, it's not like it just ends,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
And so that's a little bit about church community, growing faith, being encouraging. I think recently I realized that you need community in different areas of your life. And I realized when you don't have it, just like if you're not in a church community, or if you're in a church community and you left, this has happened. I think this happened to a lot of happens to a lot of people. I know it's
Mhm.
happened to me. Um, you know, graduating from high school, when you're not around a church community, you tend to go wayward, and you start becoming like the world,
Mhm.
right? It's good to have people that encourage you, that are accountable, that have different interests, right?
Yeah.
And like drinking is a perfect example.
Mhm.
If you have friends that party and drink, you probably party and drink. If you have friends that have different ways of entertainment, you might not have that
Yeah.
as much.
It's like one of those principles that we always hear of, like, you become who you hang around with, right?
Yeah.
The most.
And so realizing that the next phase is to rebuild our health and wellness community
Mhm.
and our business community. Health and wellness, I don't know what happened. I, I don't like to blame the pandemic because that is not taking personal responsibility. Definitely, it is a choice. But I was phoning it in, going through the motions. I still was taking supplements throughout, but
Mhm.
my heart wasn't in it.
Yeah.
Um, I think during that time, I just needed to take a break. And it wasn't so much the products, it was the community. Just seeing a lot of I'm gonna be real. It's just a lot of
Mhm.
infighting
Yeah.
during that time, and when you just don't feel any, you know, this is again not to blame them. I'm taking personal responsibility. If I knew what I knew now back then, I would
Mhm.
be able to handle it, and that shouldn't matter.
Yeah.
And so here's a lesson: is that was health and wellness is an important thing. You shouldn't
Mhm.
let the people around you dictate what your health and
Yeah.
wellness is. But at that time, I didn't know how to do that. I didn't have the tools, and so
Mhm.
um, I just kind of just
Let it go. Yeah.
drifted away,
Mhm.
and not having a health and wellness community. I realized that's the important thing about the business that we do in DoTerra.
Yeah.
It's not just about the products, because I realized over the past 15 plus years, the reason why I was so passionate and I was so consistent with some of the products and even made some changes, to the way we eat and trying some new things that I would never have tried out, is because we were surrounded by people um, that were also on their health journey.
Mhm.
And so, like, if you are, it's like having a workout partner or having somebody that is just, it's good to surround yourself with people that are ahead of you
Mhm.
to kind of pull
Yeah.
you forward. What do you have to say about health and wellness? Having a community, you feel we drifted away and we're coming back in, or?
I do. I mean, honestly, if I'm perfectly honest, I almost prefer not to have that wellness community, if I'm just being real. Just because I feel like a lot of people who are really into health and wellness, like I'm just gonna say it, like those who are really crunchy, those are not my people
I
because
see
I
it.
feel like they're so like some of them, not everyone, but a lot of the people I've met, they're just really judgy and they offer advice that either I already know or I'm already doing or I just really don't value.
Yeah, it's I can see that. I think when people, and this is not a generalization, because the
Right.
health and wellness
Yes.
community is so
It's
huge,
so
and it's
large.
just have to find your niche.
Right.
But I do know that when people are very serious about their
Mhm.
mission, um, they can be very um, judgmental. And I actually had to go through this. Reading a book about what do you got? Intuitive eating.
Mhm.
And one of the rules is beware of the food police.
Mm.
And so people in the health and wellness community can be the food police. And when you're in the health and wellness profession for a long time, you will see trends and fads.
Yeah.
You know, when my mother in the 90s was going through her cancer treatments and going through the alternative space, what was popular was going vegan, and everything was tofu, right? Soy
Mhm.
based. Well, fast forward, a lot of people say don't take soy, and then people were like, stay away from saturated fats, and then all of a sudden they're like, stay away from carbs.
Right. Mm.
And really, intuitive eating has helped me. Even knowing your identity in Christ has
Mhm.
helped me,
Yeah.
and now new tools with therapy is helping. But really, that's another that we don't want to be a part of that,
Yeah.
right? And um, we it's almost like they gatekeep health and wellness. Like, you're not a true health and wellness
Yeah,
person
I feel
if
so judged. I feel like
if you don't if
yeah.
you are not hitting the gym all the
Yeah.
time, having a physique, eating clean all the time,
Mhm.
which they define as clean, and follow everything that they do. And there are some things, and that's what happened during the pandemic, is that
Mhm.
people were drawing their line in the sand, where it's like, if you do
Yeah.
this, you're either with us or you're against us. And that also, we also thought about that as their mission, right? Number one, we're
Mhm.
not that, right?
Yeah.
And they're very popular, very influential. And, I would, you know, looking at it is like, man, if I was that, that would be great for a business, but that's not just us,
Mhm.
right? But for us, we wanted to create a safe space and a community to meet people on their
Yeah.
health journey. And I think the pandemic really helped us because when we detached from that community, we started hanging around people that, especially when we're at their place eating food.
Mhm.
In the past, we would be
Yeah.
like, oh, we can't eat that.
Right. Like, it was like, it seems so rude, and granted, like, if you have, an allergy or a dietary restriction, like, by all means, it's okay to say no. But in our case, it was just "Oh, we can't eat that because we're trying to be healthy."
Yeah.
And it just, like, when people offer food, it's, Jesus broke bread together. Like, food is such a important thing, I think, symbolically, but also it brings people together in a way that some other things don't,
Yeah.
you know?
And there are ways.
Yeah.
I would say, as long as it doesn't interfere with your social or relational health.
Mhm, mhm.
And so, what some people do is they bring their own food.
Yeah.
So, that's a
Mhm.
great thing.
Yeah.
But there are some times where we don't bring our own food. And so, either that could end up being not eating, which is also not very good for the body. And so, they call that orthorexia. Basically, if it gets to a disorder where you have an unhealthy obsession with food, where it just interrupts life,
Mhm.
interrupts your health, and just taking a step back
Yeah.
and finding that balance.
Yeah. Well, and like Colin said earlier, like, this is a journey. This is something that we're actively pursuing, wellness, just not just the physical, but this is also the spiritual, the mental, like,
Well,
all of it. This the financial, like, just all of it, wellness, um,
that's the second part,
and
and I
health.
think that's a huge part
Yeah.
with the wellness, with the spiritual,
Mhm.
is that you try to um, well, I not say you. I try to please everyone.
Mhm.
I'm a people pleaser, and I'm learning not to be a people pleaser. But you have to find your people and be real. And one of the things that I will not compromise is my faith. I love teaching, so there are some neutral teachings where we don't bring the spiritual aspect in.
Yeah.
Right? We just focus on the science.
Mhm.
We just focus on those type of things in our education. But the spiritual side is very important.
Yeah.
And more when you get deeper into the health and wellness, you especially popular things like yoga, Reiki, right? We do essential oils, so that's connected, and a lot of people think of like crystals,
Mhm.
which and other things, but um, really finding that overlap in that community, like, hey, you can be a Jesus follower, and you can use plant medicine. I
Yeah.
mean, that's the medicine that's been used for thousands of years. That's the medicine that the Israelites used. They didn't have the modern pharmacy, they used
Mhm.
plants.
Right. Mm.
And, it's just that we don't believe in the pagan associations,
Mhm.
with that. Um, and it's okay. And
Yeah.
it brings me back, I don't know how to word it because our mission is
Real people pursuing wellness together.
yeah. So real people pursuing wellness together. And um, this is unscripted because I wish I typed this out, but I'm still formulating things. But there's three things. The first thing is I think about my mom, right? Um, I think about in the 90s, having cancer in her 30s, being very scared, and you know, not accepting, you know, that Western medicine is all there is, and
Mhm.
so they call it alternative medicine or naturopathic medicine. So, she would go to, you know, our family used just all the resources to just figure out whatever and anything that was out there. Well, with that came a lot of scrutiny from the church. A
Yeah.
lot of people don't understand. They weren't into it. They were very cautious. They cautioned against it, and that left my mother very isolated. And so you have a wellness community that doesn't follow Jesus. You have the Jesus followers that isn't into natural medicine. And where does that leave someone like my mother,
Mhm.
right? And,
Right.
she might have gotten a lot of benefits from the natural things that she was doing, but part of healing is having that love and community.
Mhm.
A part of healing is the spiritual side, not being isolated from that. And I wanted to create a safe space for that. And so that's the first thing.
Mhm.
I know I learned that our motivation shouldn't be based on someone else. So I'm basing this on what I would like to have seen for my mother.
Mhm.
What's interesting now is you fast forward, 20 plus years later, these same people that were scrutinized are now like into those type of things because it's mainstream now.
Mhm.
Um, and so for myself personally, health and wellness, having a health scare last year with my liver, as well as being on this mental health journey that I've been going through for the past um 20 plus years. Is it 20? Yeah. Um really I feel like I'm at a point where I'm comfortable in sharing.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm at a really good point in my life, and I would like from people to just kind of share, and if they can gain something from it, that'd be great,
Mhm.
right? We learned that quote right recently. Like a smart person learns from their mistakes. I guess a smarter person learns from others or something like from other person's mistakes, so they don't have to go through that.
Yeah.
And so, um, but ultimately, um, everything is to it brings back to God, that purpose,
Yeah.
right?
Well, and it's just what we want, like, we truly, like, where our hearts are at is because we've been hurt. We've seen things that, we don't agree with, but in the end, I think what we want for our own community and for anybody looking for a community, um, you know, we want them to be seen, we want them to feel loved, and we want them to feel connected. And I think, in that way of not just to us, but to the mission of what we have, and just our overall, like, general, like, what we live for, what we stand for, and what we're going through.
Yeah. So I really want to dwell in on these aspects because we talked about the church family,
Mhm.
that community, right?
Yeah.
We were talking about the health and wellness.
Mhm.
Pretty soon I want to talk about business, but I really, really want to key in on health and wellness because I'm really excited that um, I'm more open about it. Um, I really want those to overlap.
Yeah.
I think a lot of things recently has helped me be more open, right? I don't agree with everything that there was a speaker at convention, Mel Robbins.
Mhm.
Personally, I don't agree with everything that she says.
Yeah.
I always have to look at it from a biblical lens, and I even asked ChatGPT, "Is this biblical?" And it will list that these are some things that are biblically aligned, and these are some things that are not biblically aligned. And so that really helps me now that I go through events, especially personal development. I will run that through that lens. I'm think that there's AI that can save a lot of time with all that research, and it's important because with personal development, um, a lot of that is finding the power within you.
Mm.
And as a
Right.
believer, um, I it's always about praying,
Mhm.
praying to God first, being dependent, right?
Right.
And so it's not the power within ourselves, but
Mhm.
the only person that can save us is Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But going back to where we're talking about community, right?
Mhm.
Health and wellness, what I did take away was let them. And it's funny because they talk about those types of things in therapy and just different wording, right? And But basically, being bold, right? Being true to your convictions. And for us, the more we go is one is faith, right? So we should be open. And to be honest, and it shames me to say this, you know, for the sake of not wanting to offend people or um, business, right? Um, I kind of soften
Mhm.
our language or um, use
Yeah.
politically correct terms or just hide it,
Yeah.
right? And you're
But
hiding your light, right?
yeah, but you know what's funny about that is that we were trying to take God out of the business aspect of our lives because we were trying to make sure that everyone felt equal,
Yeah.
right? But the funny thing is that even though we did that because of the fear that we would lose people, that they would walk away from our business, like some of that, like they still chose to walk away, even
Yeah.
though regardless if we had said something or not, like those people that we were afraid of offending walked away.
Yeah. And it's for various reasons,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
the whole point is people will know who you are truly
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
yourself. If you put on another mask,
Yeah.
for example, if I pretended like I was a into chakras and yoga just so that somebody come into my business, they'll know right away that I'm not
Mhm.
into that. Just the same
Yeah.
thing as if I position myself as somebody that hits the gym and I don't, right? I just have to be comfortable with who I am. I'm not going to attract the
Yeah.
people, most the people that are into that. They might follow another person that's really into it.
Mhm.
Um, there are some people in our team that we have different views, but we have commonalities.
Mhm.
But I do believe that, yeah, when some of those people that we didn't have we have opposing views have
Mhm.
left, it was easier to share, right?
Yeah.
And really, there shouldn't be a fear because you're going to repel some and you're going to attract others. You know, God will send people your way. I saw this. It's funny is I at the it was at the church conference where they said, you know, they're telling church planters like, hey man, you know, there's all these strategies and all these things, but the main thing is like, hey, if you are preaching truth,
Mhm.
God will send people your way.
Right.
And I was like, you can apply that to your work. Why is there a fear? That's the thing about faith is if I truly believe God is my provider, God will provide.
Mhm.
It's not necessarily my wants, you
Yeah.
know, and it will take, you know, good stewardship and it will, you know, decision making and really, you know, there are things involved, but it's about faith and being bold. And so
Mhm.
that's being more bold about our faith in our business and
Yeah.
in health and wellness.
It's like it just boils down to you doing what you know God has called you to do and just walking it out through obedience
Yes.
now rather than later.
Yes.
Yeah.
So as our faith bleeds into our workspace, our health and wellness space, our health and wellness is actually bleeding into our open space.
Yeah.
I don't know, for a reason, it was just strange this past 2, 3 years. And I'm just going to share stories. Like, I would, even when people would say, hey, hold on, do a presentation. And I could do presentations like the back of my hand. I've done it hundreds of times.
Mhm.
We've enrolled hundreds of people.
Right.
You know, we have thousands of people on our team. We've done a lot of classes. But when your heart's not in it, and it was just hard.
Yeah.
And
Like there's just no excitement.
there was no excitement and
Mm,
almost like I don't know if it was shame or it just didn't bring me joy. And
yeah.
also like I didn't want people. I cared about what people thought about me, so I didn't talk much about it. I try to avoid it,
Deflect. Yeah.
which is weird because people would think like, hey, this is your business. Why aren't you talking about it? But I
Mhm.
was like, I didn't want people to think that I am making friends with them just for business.
Right.
I didn't want
Right.
to be that person at church
Yeah.
self promoting,
Mhm.
even though this is a passion of mine. And, you know, recently it's like, why am I doing that? Why am I
Yeah.
caring about what people think? Yeah, there are some people that will question my motives. Um, and, you know, they might be incorrect. Just let them. I can't change how they think about me.
Mhm.
I do love my products. It's
Yeah.
funny. For the longest time, I used to hide taking supplements, especially when I'm on the road. Like Cassie would like give me the supplements, and I'd be like, "Oh, I don't want anybody to see me. I'm just gonna take this like in private. I don't know what it is. And um, I think therapy is helping a lot with that. Um,
Yeah.
I think it's that the fear of rejection. I don't know. Maybe it's a time, and when I was in the sixth grade, I went to summer fun, and this was when my mother was a vegan, and so she would pack me um, some tofu dogs or some fake bologna sandwich with tofu bologna and veganese, and I don't even know why I was ashamed. Because now I look at it, nobody could really tell what I'm eating there. I'm not sharing my
Yeah.
food. I just felt a deep sense of shame. Maybe it's
Like,
because
what if they find out?
what if they find out I'm so different from everyone? Like, maybe it's just
Mhm.
wanting to fit in. And
Yeah.
I feel like that here in Las Vegas. It's something I really want to rebuild is the health and wellness community. I feel like it's rubbed off on us because I don't want to offend people, and that's the people pleasing, right? Because people are into I mean, it was a completely opposite because 10 years ago, if somebody were to tell me, like, oh, I'm going to go to use this antibiotic or this Tylenol, I'll be like, no, don't, well, try this. Now I'm like, oh, yeah, do you, do you. But really,
Yeah.
no, I have those convictions, even to the point where before, when people would offer advice, I would just take it because I don't want to
Mhm.
offend it. Like, oh, you should take this. Like, okay, I'll take it. That happened on the mission trip because we were on a medical mission, and so they have um,
They have
aspirin,
all the
Tylenol,
things. Uh-huh.
antibiotics, and these are friends that I respect, and I didn't want to rock the boat. I don't know why because it's so contradictory. Like normally when we travel, we would use oils and things like that. And even when I wasn't feeling well, they would say, "Hey, you know, you should check these antibiotics," which I did. And really, just reflecting now, that's the
Mhm.
importance of community. See, with that's never happened to us before because we would
Yeah.
be with a community, friends, family. Nobody would have antibiotics. They'd be like, "Hey, I have an oil. Like, do you have On Guard? I
Well,
have some
but the
On
whole
Guard."
point is that we were in the environment where, like, we weren't with our wellness people.
Yeah, so you end up being like
Mhm.
the other people. So it's kind
Yeah.
of like if you're going through sobriety, right? I don't know. That's extreme. Is that extreme?
Babe, I don't know where you're going with this. I
I'm just
can't
saying.
I can't
I'm just saying. If you're
say.
going
I
through
mean,
sobriety and then you go with other people that are drinking, you might want to take a drink, right?
true, true.
If I, even though I health and wellness, there's just all the people around is peer pressure, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, and you know, I- it taught me a lot. I think that was also, um, but it was good to experience because I
Yeah.
didn't know. I've never taken antibiotics before. I've never taken. I wouldn't say I'd
Well,
never taken
it's been a
antibiotics. It's been
long
over
time.
probably over 15
Mhm,
years
mhm.
since I've taken antibiotics or Tylenol, and
Well, no, there was one time in 20 no. Yes, in 2019.
no, I think that was the 20. That was after
Oh,
the Big
no, it
Island.
was the early 2020
Only 2020
where
where
we
the
thought that, now we're,
yeah, it
now that
was
we're
like that
realizing
was the first
that
time. That was the first and last time. So that was the first time in 10 years that um at that point
Yeah,
that I've taken
Tylenol.
Tylenol because that was like I was going through a really hard thing, respiratory. This is 2020 now.
No, it wasn't respiratory, like, you had a fever.
Yeah, I also had a hard time
Oh,
breathing too.
oh.
Yeah.
Well, because I wasn't there.
Yeah. I was just knocked out,
Yeah,
and normally I was
because
like,
this was probably you probably had what, 2020 went through before
yeah,
everybody
Cassie's sister
else.
had this as well.
And my niece. Mhm.
And it was like the hardest thing to kick. And I was like, oh, maybe I should get some Tylenol. So that was the
Yeah.
last time. But other than that, even from that point on, if you go to our house, we don't have any
Mhm.
Tylenol.
Yeah.
Well, fast forward to Japan, when I was saw the hospital for the first time and
Yeah.
they gave me
In
Tylenol, they had little
2024.
in
Yeah.
2024. Little did they know, they took the test, but they didn't get it till later, and then they found out. They prescribed me Tylenol, not knowing that my liver enzymes were extremely high, and my liver wasn't really processing anything, so they shouldn't
Mhm.
have given me that anyways. With that said, going back to community, it's bizarre when you don't when you're your own island and you don't have the people around you to kind of support. Um, if I had just a few doTERRA colleagues on my side, you just have that encouragement,
Mhm.
and they would have those remedies right away.
Yeah.
When I got back,
But
it,
we're also thankful though for our medical community because
yeah,
they did help read some of your charts, you know, that, otherwise were they looked scary, but then it was the assurance of, "Hey, it's okay. It's gonna be okay,"
yeah.
you know, from
But
the medical side
from the
because
medical side, but I'm just gonna be real with the last few months, going to the
okay,
doctors and
yes,
everything.
but at the first initial, but now that's a whole nother
I'm just talking
story.
about. I'm glad I went through this.
Mhm.
If I didn't, I wouldn't know what people are going through. And
Yeah,
it
yeah.
actually bring me confidence to go back into health and wellness, because this is what it taught me. It also taught me when you were, the last time you were really sick was 2022.
22. Yeah.
Yes,
Mhm, mhm.
she had the
I had the C.
C. She had the C. Um, but even if you see the doctor,
Yeah,
they don't have anything to really give you.
and I don't feel like I was as bad as some of the other cases
Yeah, it was pretty
because I
bad.
believe it was pretty bad, but only because I think the anxiety made it, like, 10 times more worse, but I do believe that by using the natural things that I did have because I didn't use any medications.
Yeah.
I didn't use any medications, and I went all natural. I went through the oils, the
Well,
supplements.
the whole point is,
I
even
recovered in a week.
if you went
Well,
even
less
went
than a
to
week.
even if you went to the doctor,
Mhm.
there was no
Right.
medication
Yeah.
that they could have gave you
They
at
may
that
have
time.
hospitalized me had they had a bed.
But that reminds me of what I just went through,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm gonna give this Western. I'm so far out from the health and wellness field. I was like, maybe there's a Western medicine.
Mm.
This is what everybody's been talking about. They surely know the answers.
Mhm.
All my new friends are all into Western medicine, and for 4 or 5 months, they didn't couldn't figure out anything. I wasn't prescribed anything. Fortunately for me, I truly believe, just give your body what it supports. You know, Try to limit the junk stuff, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Do some healthy things, whether it's sleep or rest. For me, I also know that movement is important, but
Mhm.
I was very weak. My appetite wasn't there, so naturally, what I was eating, um, was not putting a big load, and really upping. I didn't know what was going on, so I was like, you know what? Here's some supplements that are good for my liver. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Here's my vitamins. Make sure I'm consistent. Here's the omegas. Here's my
Mhm.
microbiome. I just took antibiotics, so I'm just gonna, they just released a new microbiome thing. I'm just gonna do it. Over 24 strains. Here's NAD, which is a compound that does so many things. I'm gonna double up on that. And you know, I can't say that's what helped me, but that's what I did because there was nothing else to do.
Right.
And I truly believe that, you give your body what it needs, your body starts to recover,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And um, the alternative would have been to wait for the doctor to prescribe something, which they didn't really prescribe anything. And what was good about the doctor is they gave me all clear. So with all the MRI, they said, hey, they found this small little mass on my liver, and they said, hey, it's only 1.3 centimeters. It's common angioma. It's benign. Nothing to worry
Mhm.
about. So, they ruled out anything serious.
Yeah.
But and my pain started to go away.
Mhm.
And but going now, it's like, hey, there is a place for natural natural health and wellness. Those are things that you can take that are safe, and there's a lot of research that goes into that. And vitamins are a lot better than they are before. You know,
Oh yeah, there's a
before vitamins, the joke is that you just pee it right out. You don't know if it's working. It's placebo. You're weak. There are tests that you can say that your body is actually absorbing those vitamins.
Mhm.
Numbers don't lie. Test them out. And there are a lot of other things as well. I don't know. What else do you want to say about the health and wellness community?
I mean, it's a gamble, it really is, but, there are its benefits, and like you were saying, it's, that community that you have when there's something going down. Like, like if I did have that community of friends who I know would just like go to the ends, I could have been like, "Hey, this is what Holland's experiencing. Like, I don't know what to do. Do you know? Do you know of something that could help?" Right? Naturally, using our oils, our supplements, whatever it is that could help, right? And but I couldn't ask.
Well, pre 2020, if it was before 2020, there was a lot of people we could have
Yes.
asked.
But at your, to your point of we didn't have that and why we're building,
Yeah,
wanting to realign our community in
yeah.
this, aspect.
So as we build our health and wellness community, we want to build it with in a way that it doesn't contradict our faith
Right.
or compromise our values.
Yeah.
Is we'd like to
We
be
want people like us
well, we
who
want
are on the journey too. Some,
yes. I want to
maybe if they're a little ahead than us, who can give us little wisdom in that too. But, somewhere that we're going along together.
well, I wanted to say, like, we want people with the same faith as
Hmm, hmm.
us, but it's not necessarily, you know, I just want, if they don't share the same faith as us, not bring anything contradictory to our faith. Um,
Or impose something.
yeah, and so that's the tricky part, I think, with
Yeah.
with the community, as well as just sharing. I don't know. Las Vegas is very interesting, and I can't make a generalization because I don't know. But I'm so used to in Hawaii, because we come from different cultures, people are so open to natural
Mhm.
solutions. And I met a lot of people here that it's just some people are,
Yeah.
but it's just not as deep. And some people are just totally like they're totally pro pharma, which is
It's okay. That's
that's
their
them.
mhm, mhm.
Um, but I don't have to conform to that.
Yeah.
And so that's health and wellness community. Anything else?
I mean, there's a lot of communities I think that we could have, and, as things come along, I mean, we're going on a fertility journey too,
Yeah.
so it's like having that community, and we're meeting more people who are just like us, who are in a similar situation, and either they've, come out on the other side, with good news, or we're still walking it out. It's like, but we still have that where we can talk about what we're going through, and they know exactly what that is and what that looks like because they're experiencing it or they have.
Yeah. And so I'm glad we can shift to the
Mhm.
next topic, I think, is how I talked about, I create one part of like what drives me is to create a community that, would be safe for my mother, right?
Mhm.
And but that's about my mom. What about us? And I think, and I shared a little bit about our health journey, but I really believe that um, for you, like women's hormones, PCOS is a big thing, as well as for both of us trying to conceive, right?
Right.
Is a journey. And For me, it's mental health. And I feel like in both situations, anybody that's gone through, um, just like my mother, who was going through her journey with cancer, is that you just don't stop at the answers that the doctors tell you.
Mhm.
There's a lot of things that you can do because we we're doing a lot on our part. What we put into our bodies, the products that we use that might have toxic load, right? There's a lot of research on, you know, all the um, all the things, right? All the phthalates and plasticizers in our products
Mhm.
that it can affect the cell receptors. But um, all that is anybody that's going through that journey knows the challenges. There's not an easy fix.
Mhm.
I saw this also with my mother and her mental health journey. And that's why when people that don't understand, they don't know.
Yeah.
Because they will say, oh, all they have to do is just take their medication. I saw my mother go through a lot of different medications, some of things that made things worse.
Mhm.
I personally have similar experience with that. It's not that simple. It's not that simple. Same as PCOS. There are some people that has this. They go,
Mhm.
they get prescribed something, right, like Clomid or something, and then bam, everything is okay,
It's all
hunky
good.
dory.
Mhm.
And there are other people that is just you just have to go through their own journey, right? And um, this is how we can kind of is it partner with people on their journey as they go through that, and just to encourage and to pray for one another, right?
Mhm.
um I'm excited about health and wellness. um I've always wanted to share, but I feel like if I'm glad I didn't. I mean, I've shared some parts like 10 years ago, but I've learned so much in the last 20 years
Mhm.
that I can really have a full, and I've had time to reflect. Um, and I've tried a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And so, um, and just sharing about that, because we're all different. I think I
Yeah.
shared this before. We're not the expert. We're just sharing our
Mhm.
journey and
Yeah.
see what you
It's just
can.
our story. And so, yeah, there's so much more that we could talk about around community and our beliefs and what we want, but we'll have lots more time for that. So, I think this is where we'll stop here and we look forward to coming to the table again next time.